There's the trust of that bit. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about all of the 5-star books that I've read so far in 2019, and I think I just got this idea from doing the mid-year freakout tag. It was just kind of interesting for me to look back and see everything that I've rated 5 stars for the first half of the year. For this, I have 14 books that I've rated 5 stars so far. So that means about, I think maybe almost exactly half of the books that I've read so far have been 5 stars, which is great, but also just maybe a little unrealistic. Like, maybe I was a little nice for some of these, but nonetheless, let's get into this. I'm going to say a little summary about some books. I feel like when I do wrap-ups and stuff like that, I don't usually give summaries, so I'll give very short summaries for each book, so let me get into it right now. For the first book that I've given 5 stars in 2019, it is Clockwork Angel, which is the first book in the Infernal Devices series. Now, if you don't know what this series is, you must probably not really watch BookTube at all, because the Shadowhunter series is very popular, so I'm not going to say a lot. Follows Will Herondale and Jen Carstairs in their journey, and it's like the prequel series to The Mortal Instruments, so that's pretty much it. The next book that I gave 5 stars I've talked about kind of a lot, and it's 5 Feet Apart by Rachel Lippincott. This book was made into a movie. Oh Lord, I can't talk. This book was made into a movie, and I loved it very much. I think it followed very well. It's quite short. This book, summary, sorry I forget, I'm not used to it. This book follows the main character that has cystic fibrosis, which is Stella, and then she meets this new boy that also has cystic fibrosis, but he has B. sepacia, so he is not able to get a lung transplant, and his name is Will. And my personal favorite is Stella's best friend Poe, who also has cystic fibrosis, so they're not allowed to stay close to each other, which kind of sucks because, you know, when you get super close to someone, you just want to be in their vicinity and you want to hug them if you're sad, and it's a very sad book, but I recommend reading it. I fell in love with all of the characters, and it's just so sweet. The next book that I have that I rated 5 stars is Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban, and yes, if you are wondering, this is my first time reading Harry Potter. I'm not going to give you a synopsis. I'm pretty sure everybody in the world knows what Harry Potter is, unless they just came out of the womb like today, so I am very in love with this series. I have watched all the movies before. My brother really likes Harry Potter, and my boyfriend also really likes it, so I have watched all the movies. I've been to Harry Potter World in Universal several times, but I finally decided to pick up the books that my brother bought me for my birthday last year, and now I'm kind of obsessed with it. Before I was just like, whatever, but thank you. This next book I actually read for school, and I talked about it in a few of my videos, but if you're new, you wouldn't know. So it is Mouse, the Complete Collection, Volume 1 and Volume 2. It is a graphic novel following Art Spiegelman and his journey with his father. So this is a real life story, but as you can see, if it's focused, it is shown in mouse form, which is why it's called Mouse. So Art Spiegelman draws himself and his father as mice and follows flashbacks of his father talking about the war and the present day, how it affects him, how it affects the relationship. It is a great graphic novel. I did not expect to enjoy it as much as I did, so I'm really glad that I got to read this for school, and if you guys like graphic novels, I definitely recommend this. This next book I feel like I've talked about quite a lot, and it's Crank by Ellen Hopkins. This book follows Christina and her journey with dealing with crank and drugs, and this book is based off of Ellen Hopkins' real daughter. She just made her into a character of a book. I watched a whole interview, so if you're interested, just search Ellen Hopkins interview. It's like an hour long, and it's one of my favorite things that I've ever watched on YouTube, so if you're interested in Ellen Hopkins, I suggest going to watch that interview, and if you haven't read these books, then I suggest doing so. The next book that I read that I gave 5 stars is Shadow and Bone by Leigh Bardugo. It is the first book in the Grisha trilogy. Yes, I read this after I read Six of Crows. I guess it really doesn't matter, but that's like my thing. I hate this so much about me, but I never ever get to be reading stuff when it first comes out. I'll like read stuff and be like, oh my god, yeah, and then I'll go to like document that I read it and put what year that it was published, and when I search it, it's like 2012. I'm like, great, I'm like way behind on literally everything, so that's why I read this year. This follows Alina, Mal, and the Darkling, and what else can I say? The Darkling. The next book that I rated 5 stars, I do not own because I got an e-arc of it before it came out, and it's Red, White, and Royal Blue by Casey McQuiston. This book is literally trending everywhere, so I'm sure you've heard of it, but it follows Alex, and I honestly can't remember the other character's name, and he's like the prince, and Alex is the son of the first female president of the United States, and it's a relationship between the two of them, and it's beautiful, and you should read it. The next book that I read that I gave 5 stars was no, it's not my only reread. So Crank was a reread too, but this is also a reread, Saint Anything by Sarah Dessen. And this book just literally holds such a special place in my heart because something about it just makes me so happy. This book follows Cindy Chatham, and it is about Cindy's life. Her brother was drunk driving and hit a young kid on a bike, and sorry if you hear the rain, it's literally downpouring right now. Anyway, she hits a boy on a bike, and the boy's now paralyzed, and it just really messed Cindy up because her brother never said anything about it. Her parents kind of act like it wasn't her brother's fault, even though it obviously was. And she just feels guilt, and she's constantly thinking about this boy that got injured because of her brother being reckless. So it follows her finding new friendships, which is my favorite friendship in a whole book, which is Cindy and Layla. And they go to a pizza shop, and then there's a romance, but like I said in my other video, this book doesn't only follow the romance, it also follows the friendship and the development of a family, and I think it's so beautiful, so please just read it right now. The next book I read that I gave 5 stars, I did not know this came out in 2017. Like I said, I'm always behind, and this one I was really shocked that it came out in 2017. It is The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. So I am literally so basic, and all these books are so mainstream, and I need to start reading stuff that other people don't read, but whatever, here I am. This follows Evelyn, Hugo, and Monique is a reporter, and Evelyn wants her to write an obituary, like, what is it, an autobiography about, like an autobiography about her life that is going to be published after she dies, and no one knows anything about Evelyn's life. They know that she's been married a lot of times, but that's pretty much it. And she's this big movie star, and everyone wants to know why is she getting married so much. So this whole book is pretty much the book that Monique writes, and you follow Evelyn's story of all of her husbands and her loves and her romances, and it's beautiful. This is another book that I don't have. I do own it, but my friend is currently borrowing it to read, and this one is The Sun Is Also a Star by Nicola Yoon. And I cannot remember names when they're not in front of me. Natasha, and the boy's name, is it Daniel? I think it's Natasha and Daniel. So this follows Natasha, and she is being deported, and she meets Daniel, and they only have one day to spend together, pretty much, not even a full day, and they fall in love, and that's pretty much what the whole book is. There's a lot more greenness to it, but read it and then you'll know. The next book I have is the second book in the Crank Trilogy, and it is Glass by Ellen Hopkins. Same thing, this follows Christina after she has her son, and she still is on this roller coaster ride, and that's pretty much what this is. So these next 3 books are going to be my June wrap-up. They are, so I read 3 books so far in June. Like, finished 3 books so far in June, and they were all 5 stars. And I'm like, okay, let's go. So the first book is Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. This is my absolute favorite book so far in the series, and I'm pretty sure it's gonna stay my favorite because the fourth movie was always my favorite. Obviously, movies are different from the book because did you see the third movie? Thank you. Still kind of mad about it, but anyway. This follows Harry. Obviously, his name gets put in the Goblet of Fire, and they don't know how it happened, and they think that he did it, and he has to compete in the Triwizard Tournament, and Cedric Diggory's in it for some time. And that's pretty much what it is. All the games and stuff, and then finding out who put his name in the Goblet of Fire. This next book I did not expect to be 5 stars, and I'm so happy that it was. I read it really fast. It was so fun. And it's An Enchantment of Ravens by Margaret Rogerson. I thought I was going to be wrong with her name. This follows Isabel and Rook is one of my new favorite male characters. Why? He's not a boy. Rook is one of my favorite male characters, like, immediately. Thank you. So he is the Prince of Autumn, right? I'm pretty sure that's what he is. He's the Prince of Autumn. She is a craft, or has a craft, and she is a painter. So all of the fair folk come to her to get their portraits done. And this book is all about enchantments, and there's a lot of adventure in it because something happens that Rook does not like, and he kind of kidnaps her, and then quickly it just turns around and they develop a relationship with one another. And it's just really interesting to see all of this stuff that happens. They encounter different things. Just read this book, it's really good. This last book is probably the one that I'm the most shocked about, that I gave 5 stars out of all of these. Books and Lala recommended this in one of her videos, and I had it from a book outlet order that I just literally blindly ordered stuff. No clue what it's about, whatever. This Song Will Save Your Life by Layla Sales. I read this yesterday in one sitting because I was like, okay, I have to read at least one word for the buzzword-a-thon. For the buzzword readathon. And I did not expect to finish it yesterday, but it was so good I couldn't stop. Please, like, this is insane. Well, what is her name? I can't remember. Elise. So this follows Elise, and this rain is wild. This follows Elise, and she is a high school outcast. Yeah. This book made me mad with how people treated her, because I think the reason that I love this book, besides just loving it, is that it was very relatable for me. I was also an outcast in high school. Like many other people, high school sucks. So thank you. This follows Elise, and she is having a rough time. Fumble. My dogs literally did not bark this entire time. This follows the video. I'm just gonna talk because I literally can't. I'm getting really hot because I had to turn my fan off. So this follows Elise. She's having trouble with school. People at school. Ignore my dogs, please. Please just ignore them. Okay. She's having problems in school and whatnot. And then she stumbles upon a underground dance party, DJ disco club, and she meets this guy named Char. She meets 2 friends, Vicky and Pippa. Vicky is one of my favorite characters. And she develops a relationship with Char, and she starts to learn how to DJ. And that's literally my favorite scenes are when she's in Start and DJing. It is literally so fun to read about her DJing. I don't know why, but please read this. I don't hear anyone talk about this besides Books and Lala, and I think it needs more recognition, so please read this. It's very sweet. It's very fast read. Summertime read, so do it. Thank you. So that is it for my 5-star reads so far in 2019. I will do one at the end of the year as well to wrap up the other half of the year. So yeah, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you like me, if you like my channel, subscribe, and thank you for watching.